Hello everybody, Nick for Kids here, bringing you the round 4 coverage of the Yugizuna tournament on Go Format Europe Discord. For this, I'm going to be narrating the replay this time, and after the replay is over, I'll go over the results of the 4th round and what the implications are, and tell you a little bit about what to expect in the next round, and so on. So with that said, let's get right into the gameplay, and you can see here that we have the Burn Queen Pui versus Leaf Eater Majosam, and the Burn Queen is giving a little bit of a banter here to Majosam, but let's see if their words ring hollow. All right, so let's see here. Start off just a simple set of Big Shield Gardna. As you can tell, we have a burn mirror match. See which of these players brought the better burn deck. And got a normal summon of the Giant Rat, one of my favorite cards in the game. I'm going to attack in, but Ceasefire is flipped, which flips all face-down monsters, and also inflicts 500 damage for each effect monster on the field. So gonna flip it now so that you get the extra 500 damage. And the face down was Sangan, so she's going to search up a Gyakugire Panda. And she activates her face down Ojama Trio, summon 3 Ojama tokens on the opponent's field. And this Nightmare Wheel, which is on the Big Shield Gardna, is going to deal 500 burn damage. It's a slow clock, but it is a clock nonetheless. Then we see here that she summons Giant Rat, looking like she wants to crash into the other rat to maybe summon a Gyakugire Panda from the deck, but she is stopped by Ring of Destruction. Still, that's going to do a little bit of damage to Majosam, and they are the one at the life point deficit currently, and they can only attack with their Giant Rat. Just going to attack in for a little bit of damage, and take some more damage from the Nightmare Wheel. And then Gyakugire Panda comes down. It's going to attack one of these tokens, which has 1000 defense. Just so people know, when you're playing, there is a token button. If you hold it down instead of just clicking it, it lets you select any token. So you don't have to just use sheep tokens. You can also change your default tokens in your deck settings, but you can use Ojama tokens instead of sheep tokens. That would be preferable, because sometimes it can be confusing to a player. So going to do a bunch of piercing damage, and then 300 from the Ojama for 2600 damage. And she's just going to set a card, and then activate Chain Energy, hoping to make any possible outs pretty much gone from Majosam. And yep, Majosam admits defeat with that. There's not really much they can do with their hand. And Pui here playfully joking around, saying that Leaf Eater must work on their technique. But Majosam says they had crappy cards. Pui says crappy cards are for a crappy mindset. Words to live by. And we've got this big koala, not the big one, but the Des Koala face down to start. And Pui starts off with a Pot of Greed, which is always good, letting them draw 2 cards from their deck. Gonna set a bunch of cards and end her turn. Gonna Nightmare Wheel to keep that card from being able to flip summon, just in case it's something like a Morphing Jar, or really it could be anything that's going to inflict damage. And Leaf Eater will activate Giant Trunade, and Pui will chain Just Desserts and Ojama Trio to get some burn damage, and also to keep them from adding extra cards to their hand, which they knew maybe that this was a Des Koala. Now it's Koala and the Rat that was just summoned are gonna beat in, set some more cards, and Leaf Eater ends their turn. Got that Ojama Trio, and we can see here Pui summons the correct token for the Ojamas, and uses Giant Trunade. Majosam thinks before activating Secret Barrel to inflict 200 damage for each card that the Burn Queen has on her field and in her hand, which will still count the Giant Trunade because it doesn't go to the grave till the chain is resolved. That's something that players will forget. Then they summon a Gyakugire Panda. And they're going to swing in for a bunch of damage because they have 5 monsters, and Panda gains 500 attack for each monster the opponent controls. Then just set Nightmare Wheel, thinking that, you know, they're in a pretty good spot. But you see here, Leaf Eater does a pretty tricky move. Summons Exiled Force. And they're going to use its effect. Pui preemptively admitted defeat, but what they were probably planning to do was use its effect to pop an Ojama Toko, which would deal 300 damage, and the Burn Queen only had 200 life points left, so she would have lost. So I guess she should have waited until maybe the effect was actually used and targeted, because maybe Leaf Eater made a mistake and targeted the Gyakugire Panda instead. And Majosam poking fun back, saying, work on your technique, just as she had said before. And Pui says, victory! My victory, I thought assured. I won't let it happen again. So let's see if she can put her money where her mouth is, or in this case, her panda where her mouth is, her koala where her mouth is. We'll see. And now we see Leaf Eater, the same start that Pui had last turn with a Pot of Greed. It's going to set, and use Swords Revealing Light to keep any monsters from attacking. It's the superior card in this matchup because usually you play like Gravity Bind or Level Limit Area B, but you play those because your cards don't really care about them for the most part. It is a good combo with the Big Shield Gardna because it forces, at least Level Limit Area B will force it back into defense position after it changes itself to attack with its effect. But other than that, Gyakugire Panda and the Des Koala and such, they can attack while those cards are up, so Swords Revealing Light is superior in that sense. And Pui just going to activate Heavy Storm. And they're both going to use the Ojama Trio to get some Ojama tokens going. And then she has a No More Crossout. I bet Leaf Eater is wishing that they would have had the Big Shield Gardna set. Pui looks like only had one more koala. And Majosam says, my panda. I think maybe they meant koala. I'm going to set some more cards and another Nightmare Wheel from Pui. Again, in a way, it's better than Level Limit Area B in this matchup for reasons that I described. Probably also trying to prevent this from flipping in case it was a Morphing Jar or Cyber Jar. Some more burn damage. And then an Exiled Force to pop her own Ojama token to decrease any damage from effects, and also to free up more spaces on her board. And Majosam here going to fire off their Just Desserts, and then Giant Trunade in response. Ceasefire is going to be chained on Pui's side, and then Secret Barrel is going to be activated on Leaf Eater's side, and then Just Desserts is going to be activated on Pui's side. As the dust settles, a bunch of damage to both players. Now the field is clear, and Majosam chooses to keep their panda in the hand and instead stay on the defensive side with Big Shield Gardna set. And Pui going to set 3. And then use Nightmare Wheel again to keep that from being able to flip summon. And now Majosam is locked out of summoning any monsters. And Pui going to use Graceful Charity to filter out their hand and keep a Tribe Infecting Virus. And once more, Majosam can't really do anything with these monsters. Can't even force a crash. Because Giant Rat has 1450 defense, so another Giant Rat cannot destroy it by battle. And you see Pui here firing off the Secret Barrel. $500 more damage to Majosam, and then we see a Tribe Infecting Virus call effect, and it's going to call Beast and destroy all of these Ojama tokens, which will inflict 900 damage to Leaf Eater and 600 damage to Pui. So we see here, Majosam admits defeat, and that will be the game. And it seems, at least for this tournament, that the Burn Queen has kept her title of queen. Alright, and before I get into the details of the breakdown for round 4, I would just like to quickly mention that the Burn Queen Pui, who we watched a replay with, is dueling for the benefit of Trans Lifeline in this tournament. So they are hoping to bring home $100 for their charity. I encourage anyone who's interested in donating to any of the charities that these duelists are dueling for to do so if they so wish. I'm going to have on the Discord, as well as in the final round, going to have a link to all of the charities that people had posted. With that out of the way, let's get to the results. And you can see that at the end of round 4, Nate Dogg 29 is the sole leader with 4 wins and 0 losses. Currently still going for Zensho Yusho, or in other words, a tournament win with no losses. And right behind their tail, they have TK Griffiths, Spirit Reaper, the Burn Queen Pui, Kotsos, Sham of House Wow, Sham Wow, and then 2 wins behind, which potentially they can make it if they get a win at a 3-2 record. If Nate Dogg ends up only getting 1 more win or no more wins, they can still potentially win. So even though it's at the 4th round and Nate Dogg has all wins, everyone else still pretty much has a chance to win, although unfortunately Grace and Zogler are a lot less likely to. They would have to win in their next 3 rounds, because there's 7 rounds in the tournament, and Nate Dogg not win any for them to be able to win. But you don't have to win the smaller prizes in this tournament, which are the Outstanding Performance Prize, the Technique Prize, and Fighting Spirit Prize. Especially the Fighting Spirit Prize goes to the person who shows the most tenacity, which often is somebody who comes back from being behind, or that, despite maybe not having the best record, they are able to play out each of their matches to the best of their ability and show what they have. Maybe, for instance, they have no real accolades to their name, and yet they make, like, quote-unquote 3rd place in the tournament. That would be something to give the Fighting Spirit Award to. We'd have to wait and see until the end of the tournament who those rewards might go to, but in the next round, I want to bring up that we have some interesting matchups, because someone might be able to play spoiler for Nate Dogg and ruin his streak. And as well, we are going to have Alethea versus Alvarado, who Alvarado is 44 Alethea, and Alethea is Lionheart. They apparently have a rivalry amongst each other, and we'll see if the copycat 44 Alethea can win over Alethea 2. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope that you guys have some more fun in the next videos. We have 3 more rounds, and then possibly some tiebreakers. And with that said, have a good one.